Welcome back, everybody. I am Mark Anthony. I am the Vegas Tourist, and I just wanted to jump on here really quick because MGM selling the Mirage set up a couple of red flags in my head that just were not making sense. And what I was reading online, some of the dots did not connect correctly. And so I wanted to kind of go over them out loud and see what you guys think about this. All right. First of all, the Mirage was created in 1989 by Steve Wynn. Steve Wynn just come off of redeveloping the Golden Nugget in downtown, making it the four-star resort that we know it as today. Comes down on the strip and says, hey, I'm going to spend $630 million and I'm going to build a 3,000-room resort. I'm going to put a volcano out in front, and I'm going to make what used to be an opening act my headliners, two German magicians, Siegfried and Roy. In back, I'm going to have a dolphin habitat, and I'm going to have this secret garden for my magicians. All right. All of this, including the fact that he hid the casino behind other shrubbery and all that. When you walk into the Mirage through the front door, the casino is hidden. All of this were known, almost written in stone. If this is how you want to succeed in a Vegas resort, this is what you don't do. And Steve Wynn was doing them. So everyone said this was going to be a complete failure. Yeah, okay. Now, MGM announced that they're selling the Mirage to an unknown third party for $1.4 billion. Well, what's interesting about that is if you take the $600 million that Steve Wynn paid to build this in 1989 and put it in 2021 dollars, it works out to $1.4 billion. Except this time, MGM is selling the resort but not the land. Okay, because the land belongs to a real estate trust that was spun off from Caesar's Palace or from Caesar's Resorts. All right, are you following the dots now? Okay, all right. So, this is the one that started the trend. This is the one that created the mega resort. All right. MGM, in announcing the sale of the Mirage, says this does not fit into our future vision of the company. You have a resort that is known worldwide because of the fountains and Siegfried and Roy and all that. And this does not fit into your future vision of the company. What is your future vision of the company? And that's where the other red flag went off in my head. If you go back about 10, maybe even 15 years ago, I don't remember the exact point, but what was the number one attraction at the MGM? What was the reason when you came to Vegas? What was the reason you went to the MGM? Or when you told somebody, when you go to Vegas, you got to go to the MGM. Why did you tell them they had to go to the MGM? Well, it's because of the lion habitat. You have to go in there and see the lions. They have the cubs in the morning, and they got the adults in the afternoon. You got to go in there. What does MGM do? They take the lion habitat out and they lease that space to a bar. As they did, just about every square inch of that gaming floor that doesn't have games on it is leased out to another company. MGM Grand became a mall. They became a landlord, which is kind of funny because they spun the real estate off so that MGM Grand becomes a tenant, and they pay leases for the property, and then inside that property they become a landlord. They've taken out everything that's free. They do this because they're thinking corporate. They're thinking Wall Street, 60 to 90 days out. That's as far as they think out. What's going to make us money in this next 60 to 90 days? Well, lease payments from a restaurant versus you coming in to see the lion habitat, then turning around and putting $20 into a slot machine. They don't connect the lion habitat to you spending money because it's a long-term thing. It's not a short-term thing. All right. So look at their recent acquisition of the Cosmopolitan. All right. Great example. What what's different from the Mirage to the Cosmopolitan? Okay, first of all, the operating the Cosmopolitan puts MGM at major monopoly on the Vegas Strip. Puts them into the 60 to 65% dominant role. So they have to get something, so to get one, they got to get rid of the other, and that happened to be the Mirage. Now, they're doing this because the Mirage has so much stuff that's free, so much land taken up for things that are free. The volcano, the dolphin habitat and the Secret Garden are not free, but it's operated by the casino. It's operated by MGM. It's not leased out. They don't get rent from that. They don't get rent from this. They want rent from all of this space. Now, they could redevelop this, okay? Shut it all down, blow up the volcano and all that. But remember, a couple years ago, Vital Vegas ran a April Fool's Day joke and said, "Hey, the Bellagio is going to take out the fountains and put a shopping mall there." That went worldwide, and they just got hammered on it until said, "Hey, look, guys, it's April 1st, all right?" But MGM knows that you don't touch the fountains and you don't touch the volcano. So if they can't touch the volcano, get rid of it, all right? So that's what they're going to do. Now, who is going to buy the Mirage? First one up, everyone says Phil Ruffin. Okay, he owns Treasure Island right next door. But you got to remember, when Phil bought Treasure Island, he had cash. MGM was almost bankrupt because they were spending so much money on City Center. Phil had $700 million cash on him. They took the cash and gave him that. Then they turned around, and during that phase is when they separated the resort from the land, and then they turned around and said, "Hey, why don't you buy the Mirage?" Phil made it very, very clear. He does not rent. If I'm buying the Mirage, I'm buying the land, which may explain why this sale is as secretive as it is, because MGM might be doing that. They might be going behind the scenes trying to package the deal, land and the resort. That, now that would explain the whole secrecy behind all of this. Is they're trying to offer Phil a package. Okay, so who else is next? Hard Rock. Hard Rock has been kicking the tires for various resorts around Vegas for the last 4 or 5 years. This one, with very little work, would fit into their mold very well. Okay, play space for the adults, play space for the kids. Last night, before I signed off, Vital Vegas again pops up and says, "Hey, it looks like Starwood Capital Group is the owner or the potential owner for the Mirage." My heart sank when I heard that one, because they own the Riviera. They were the last owners of the Riviera, and in management they put Paragon Gaming. Paragon Gaming basically took an old resort and made it completely, they just trashed the Riviera. Okay, yes, it wasn't that good when they took it over, but they didn't have to do what they did to it. Okay, they complete mismanagement, and personally, they turned it into, okay, use the S word. All right, just no. Same thing. They are in charge of Westgate, which used to be the Hilton, and they turned it into a shithole. Okay, that's what they do. Is they take over profitable, good resorts, gaming areas, and they turn the place into a shithole. If they get a hold of this place, I can only imagine what a dump this is going to be. Okay, so I'm hoping for either Red Rock or Phil, and my money is on Phil because I think they're going to do a package deal. I think they're going to do a package deal on this. Now, all of this is going to be mute in about probably 48 to 72 hours, probably. But I just wanted you to get my view of how all of these dots are connecting. All right. On that, I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments on the sale of the Mirage. Who do you think is going to own it? What do you think is going to happen to it? Is the MGM going to sell off the Bellagio after this? Okay, again, because it's got a lot of free space. Leave me your comments and your questions down below. Visit me at thevegastourist.com, and I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll talk to you all later.